Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Masters Monday, an exciting day to be alive if you are a golf fan. And my, oh my, what a lot of action that took place in the Masters over the last week. And a lot of great stuff to get to, of course. We, of course, are Baxter. That's Jaymee over there. We are the Morning Brew. This is Brew Sports. We love sports. Yay, sports. We love coffee. We're also very tired, as we usually are in the morning. But we're still here nonetheless because, boy, do we just love everything about everything. Don't we, Jaymee?
We sure do.
Yeah. Get hyped. Are you hyped?
So hyped.
So hyped.
Uh-huh.
Like just like how hyped is hyped? Like you can't even hyped? Like get on my level?
I literally can't even.
Like you could just literally do a backflip right now. That's how hyped you are?
Yeah.
Yeah? You ever get those feelings some days? You're just like, I could literally throw myself in the air crazily and land it and be like, like, no?
No.
Not how your life goes?
I don't think I've ever had that feeling, no.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Maybe I'm missing out, though.
No, it's totally fine. Everybody goes through life differently. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Well, we've got a big one for you today, folks. Caleb Pearson's going to be here in just a little while to help us recap the Masters. It was a very exciting finish as Sergio Garcia is the champion of the world, at least in the Masters. And we'll have Caleb here in a little while to join us to help us break it all down for us and tell us why we care and why it's good for the sport of golf as well, too. Of course, but before we get to all of that, it is our What's Brewing segment here on the Morning Brew, where we talk about some of the greatest and latest stories taking place in the sports world. First and foremost, the only thing that ever matters in the sports world, as you know, is Tim Tebow. He hit another home run, Jaymee.
He did.
He hit another freaking home run. And who else but ESPN is reporting it, saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Holy cow. Somebody get him up to the majors because he clearly knows how to play baseball. I'm getting very annoyed with this, even though I love Tim Tebow. I really do, but I'm getting mad at the fact that ESPN only talks about it when he does something positive. Like, why do we care about this? I think it just is frustrating. Is it not?
I think it's I think it's an overkill. Like he's
Yes.
not. I can guarantee you, he's not the only person in the minors that is doing well right now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He's
Right.
not. That's the thing. That's what really bothers me is that it's the fact that it's numerous other guys out there that I'm sure are been playing their hearts out their entire careers, but because this gentleman's name is Tim Tebow and he has all the storylines that go along with him, is why so many people are just enamored and in love with Tim Tebow doing Tim Tebow things, of course. It just gets frustrating after a while because, I mean, really, why do we continue to spend so much time focusing on a guy like Tim Tebow? It's like, just let him play the game. Why do we have to put him under a microscope, guys? It just gets frustrating after a while.
Well, and I don't think it's fair to anybody else. Like, just, I don't know. Like, it's not like this is really that big of a deal because he's played baseball for a long time before this. He just was better at football. And then that ship sunk quickly, and now he's like retracting. I don't know. I don't know if I should be that impressed.
I don't know if anybody should be that impressed, honestly.
Like it's cool.
Yeah,
but at the same time, okay.
I guess. I mean, really, what do you say to something like this? I mean, Tebow helped Columbia beat the Augusta Green Jackets, which is semi-ironic, honestly, 6-0 on Sunday. Tim Tebow is 29 years old, too. I kind of forget how old and or young he is at the same time, just because I feel like he's been around forever. But he's been so relevant since he was a freshman in college, basically, for the University of Florida, that it's like, wow, just never get rid of Tim Tebow. He's always there. Pretty ridiculous. But, yes, Timmy Tebow doing all the Tim Tebow sort of things that you can do, I guess. But congratulations to him on another home run, I suppose, if you're into that sort of thing. And we'll keep an eye on how many more times he hits home runs that we continue to talk about and blow out of proportion as well, too. I don't really think he's ever going to get a call-up. I don't think so. I mean, even if he hits 50 home runs this season, I don't know if he's going to be lucky enough to make something like that happen. I would just be shocked by that. I really would.
I mean, you can call him up and he can just sit in the dugout.
That's the thing. I feel like the Mets organization is going to probably be in a situation halfway through the season where they're going to be like, you know what? Attendance has been down a little bit. Promotions haven't been going that well. I mean, you work in that arena. Like, you know what that's like. I mean, if you had a Tim Tebow sitting somewhere, like, in your organization, wouldn't you, like, bump somebody and be like, guys,
when
get him up
PK
here.
Subban got injured, and I was like, oh, my gosh, he's going to be on IR. He's going to have to come back to Milwaukee and do some
can you imagine if PK Subban
I know. I was like, we'll sell out this arena so fast. And he didn't come here for conditioning. I wish he would have, though.
Darn you, PK. Cool. What's his first name?
I have no idea, to be
PK. It's like, because it's not like, his name is not like PK. It's not like Gerard Piqué, like Pique. It's like, it's PK, like the letter P, the letter K, and then Subban. It's a very strange name when you think about it. But it's very much a PR's dream if you have to deal with Tim Tebow from a marketing perspective. But I really wouldn't be shocked if the Mets somewhere between July and August are like, you know what? Not like that's a lot of space. It's 2 months, back-to-back months. But you get what I'm saying, though. Sometime between like June and August, maybe, if Tim Tebow doesn't even do like a weekend stint, like up in the majors, I think I could see that happening.
Pernell Carl
Subban.
Sylvester Subban.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Pernell Carl Sylvester Subban.
Yep.
Yeah, good thing to stick with PK. Good thing. Dan on Facebook here says, only if their attendance is down will they call Tim Tebow up. I completely agree with you on that one, Dan. Let us know your thoughts as well, of course, in the comment section below. We love hearing from you guys. Dan getting the party started right off the bat, so kudos to you, Dan. 5 points to you as the first commenter for the day. We love hearing from you guys, so make sure to hit that share button as well, too. Let us know. Talking about Tim Tebow, talking about everything else that is brewing this morning in the sports world. We're going to talk about the Masters, as we mentioned, here in just a minute. We're going to talk about something later on as well, too, which is kind of strange in terms of food and drink. We talk about things we love to eat and drink all the time, but we're going to talk about something weird that Seattle is doing and something strange that the Braves are doing. But I guess it's kind of par for the course when it comes to baseball, these different foods and drinks that these teams offer up. But we'll get to that in just a brief moment. What else is brewing this weekend, or today as a whole, Jamie, that we want to talk about in the sports world?
Russell Westbrook caps historic season with a 42nd triple-double.
My goodness. Passing Oscar Robertson on the all-time leader list for triple-doubles. The Thunder are likely going to only end up winning 47, maybe 48 games if they end up winning the last 2 games of the season. However, Russell Westbrook kind of cementing himself as the front runner for the MVP award. What do you take away from a performance like this with Russell Westbrook? I think he scored over 50 points in this last game. He hit the game-winning shot as well too. Yeah,
I think we've kind of talked a little bit about him before. Obviously he's in the run to be MVP or whatever. And this just is another tally on his side of why he should win the MVP.
Yeah, I do agree.
We talked about it being something more team-based. Is it the team overall? Is it an individual? I think it should be more so the individual. Should wins count? Yes. But again, if you don't have the talent next to you, it's not all just your fault.
That is a good point. I mean, this was the season that nobody expected anything good to come out from the Oklahoma City Thunder as well. So you lose Kevin Durant, arguably one of the greatest to ever play the game, and then you just kind of sit there and like, well, what are we going to do now?
Right.
And they've been able to storm back and able to kind of take over the NBA by storm, which I think has been phenomenal for them because it's good to see that they've been able to rise above all the negativity that surrounded them. I will say this, though. MVP candidate James Harden came out recently and said that he believes MVPs should be decided based off of winning, not based off of necessarily personal stats at the same time.
But it's most valuable player, not most valuable player's team.
Exactly. But, I mean, if James Harden is providing more wins for his team, I think I can see his argument in that regard, saying, like, look, guys, like my team has already won over 50-some games, where Russ's team has only won 46. So I'm more valuable to my team, as I think is what James is trying to say. Okay. But I get what you're saying, though. Finish your thought, though, because I like where you're going.
Well, I was going to say, like, without Russell Westbrook.
It's the worst possible name to say.
I can't. It's hard. My Invisalign
way too early.
Catches my tongue. Yeah. Without him, like, maybe they would have only won. So, okay, I don't know, like, the stats on how many games, obviously, they would or would not win without him. So I don't know if you can really say, like, well, we won a lot more games because I was on the team. Who cares? You would have won a lot less without you. No matter if you guys are at 57 games and OKC's at 42, whatever. Like, no. I think he's wrong.
You're just all wrong.
Yeah, I think he's wrong. I think I understand what he's saying, but there's nothing that proves. Like, obviously he's a good player, and that's why he's in the running for becoming MVP, right? Like, take him out of the team, and, like, it's going to be a worse team. But you can say that for either team, whether they've won more games or not.
You're not wrong. I mean, that is the big thing about all this, obviously. I mean, you're saying this, you're like, well, okay, well, wins, losses, et cetera. I mean, you look at, like you said, how important is certain players. I mean, if we're going based off of what team is being the most successful based off of their MVP candidate, well, then, of course, LeBron James should be winning the MVP every year because the Cleveland Cavaliers have 51 wins in the Eastern Conference. However, though, the Houston Rockets do have more wins than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have 3 more wins. So you could say, well, James Harden is clearly more important, but James Harden has also played all season long, too. That's another conversation you could have there where LeBron has rested and have that whole NBA players resting debate as well. So there's so many different facets. I think at the end of the day, it is going to come down to Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Yeah.
But I think Russ is going to ultimately take the MVP solely based off the fact that his numbers are so astronomically insane. That's why he's going to ultimately end up winning it at the end of the day, in my opinion. So it's hard to argue against a player that continues to just do incredibly amazing things week in and week out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's a great player, but I think he's just I don't know.
You think he's too full of himself?
Yeah, and I don't like it.
Do you think you almost have to be, though, in that situation when you literally have the entire weight of the world on your back?
No, you can still be humble. Like, what was that interview or whatever, and he was like, Steph Curry who? Like, shut up. You know who that is. Get out of town. That drives me crazy.
Well, you think it's just them trying to jab at each other, obviously. I mean, these guys clearly know who each other is.
Right.
I mean, duh. Steph Curry, how do you not know who Steph Curry is?
Right, but then, just don't.
Right.
Just be a nice guy.
I agree. We are handing out points this morning on Facebook for your level of comment. Mario says, woohoo, Jamie. I don't know if that's really worth any points. I'd give that maybe a half a point. I mean, do you give Mario any points for that?
Yeah. I'm gonna give him 2 points.
You're gonna give him 2 points. You're gonna give Mario 2 points. Mm-hmm. All right, woohoo, Jamie. There, that comment by Mario, you get 2 points. Liz says you can definitely still be humble. Agreed. I see. Yeah. See, that's like a 10-point comment right there for me.
Oh gosh.
I've got 10 points for Liz on this one. Yeah, I'm not biased at all. Clearly the best comment we're going to see all day. All right, let's get to the best-looking gentleman we're going to see all day, Caleb Pearson. He joins us now on the Morning Brew to recap the Masters. It is a world where Sergio Garcia lives as the best golfer, at least in the world for the moment, and we get to join ourselves now with Caleb Pearson. Caleb, a good morning to you, sir. How are you today?
Well, with that incredibly flattering and kind comment, my day has been made, so thank you.
You're very welcome, and I feel like I didn't get the hat memo this morning, Caleb. I would have totally worn my hat that I would have had to have gone and bought because I don't own a hat like that, but I would have found a hat and worn it just like you. But are you still in Masters mode? Is this why you're wearing such a golf hat?
Well, if that's what you want to think, that's fine. Or hair was a travesty this morning, and I wanted to cover it up.
That's basically how it is for me, too. I never wear hats, but the clear sign to know that my hair is just an absolute nightmare is if I'm wearing a hat. Like, that's like the number one sign. Like, I don't ever wear a hat because I'm like, oh, I look good in hats. Like, oh, sure, maybe I do occasionally, but if I'm ever wearing a hat, it is because my hair is just an absolute travesty.
Well, is this a hat or a cap? Because I would think this is more of a cap.
That looks more cappy to me, Jamie. I don't know. What do you think?
I guess so. I never really thought about it like that before.
We're just changing the game here, one cap and one hat at a time. But, all right, Caleb, so Sergio Garcia is the man that has stormed through the Masters. He wins in an epic playoff against Justin Rose. Just an amazing game between the two of those, right down to the very bitter end. Your takeaways from Sergio now being, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the 5th person from Spain to win the Masters. I believe it's 4th or 5th. I don't remember. I don't have the official number in front of me, but still a very big moment for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think this moment for him has been, it's been so many years in the making. I think it was when he was 19, I think it was in 90, 99, burst on the scene, and everyone's like, this guy is going to be the greatest talent ever. And, almost 17 years later, still hasn't had one. And it's been a long time coming for him. Finally hit the shots down the stretch, and, his putting didn't fail him as badly as it had in the past. And he is the 3rd player from Spain to win the Masters.
Okay.
Yeah, Jose Maria Olazabal won, and I believe twice, and Seve Ballesteros, whose 60th birthday was yesterday. And he had passed away a few years ago, and he's one of Sergio's greatest heroes. So it's kind of a nice, cool storyline that Sergio wins the Masters for his golfing hero from Spain.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one, too. Liz on Facebook has a good comment as well. She says, speaking of humble people, Sergio reacted to his win with such grace and humility, very well deserved. You could see that. You could see the very just sheer joy in himself. Because sometimes certain golfers win and they're just like, yes, look at me, I'm so amazing. And like you could just see not only a weight lifted off of Sergio's shoulders, but you could just see the pure just happiness as well too. He was like, oh my gosh, like I did it. Like I can't believe that. But is that just a true testament of who Sergio is? I mean, he just seems like just a really nice guy overall, honestly.
Right. I mean, I think he's kind of gone through a transformation too, because earlier in his career, he was very chippy with fans. And as he's gotten older, he's matured a lot. And yeah, I mean, that was an authentic reaction, I think, from him to finally, say I'm a major champion, to finally put himself up with, so many of the great names, and to break away from not having that. And I mean, if we're going to talk about Sergio, how classy he was, how classy was Justin Rose? Yeah. After, he just lost in a playoff. And I mean, it's amazing the class with some of these guys, Justin Rose this year and like Jordan Spieth last year. To blow the Masters last year and have to put the green jacket on the guy you blew it to. You kind of wish Cam Newton had that kind of class after losing the Super Bowl. Maybe he could have taken a dab of that class. But I mean, it's just great when you have guys like that who are in the front of the game and kids can look up to them and have someone to emulate than losing.
Sergio Garcia wasn't really on anybody's radar to win the Masters. I mean, Jordan Spieth, obviously, everyone was hoping he would do far.
Rory, all those other guys.
Were you just as shocked that Garcia came out and won it all, or were you someone that had believed in him, I guess?
Well, I mean, he had won a tournament, I want to say it was 1 or 2 weeks ago in Abu Dhabi, and he had been putting incredibly well. But he had said a couple years ago, too, Augusta doesn't fit the way I like to play. The course frustrated him. He wasn't a big fan of it. And, he even said, I might be past my time to win a major. And, so I think a lot of people wrote him off, like, well, he's one of the best players in the world, one of the best ball strikers probably to have ever lived. And, yeah, I mean, I didn't really have him on the radar until around Friday. And I was like, I don't know. It feels like he's got a lot going for him. And, with just Jordan Spieth, that 12th hole just kills him again this year. But what he kind of showcased yesterday is how precise you have to be, because he even said, like, I hit the ball so well. But if you're off 3 or 4 yards on that course, it can go from being it can go from easily having a birdie to bogey, double bogey, which happened to him all day yesterday. And, everybody wanted that to happen, I think, for the ratings. And after the 3rd or 4th hole, people were like, ugh, this isn't going to be the colossal showdown that we were exactly hoping for.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we are talking with Caleb Pearson here on the Morning Brew. Caleb, a couple of the other names that I think folks are still kind of scratching their head on. Phil Mickelson finishes the tournament 2 over. Ricky Fowler 1 under from him. Hideki Matsuyama 1 under as well too. Rory McIlroy 3 under as well. These 4 guys were kind of some of the big talking points going into this tournament, aside from the Spieth, of course. But do you take much of a thought away from any of these 4 gentlemen and how they finished, especially from a guy like Ricky Fowler, who I feel like continues to get all this hype but then can never fully deliver at the last possible moment when people need him to? Because he had a chance to kind of take away the Masters yesterday, but just he himself was just very much of a victim of the course as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky has, he won a tournament this year, but it's been again and again and again. The guy just cannot finish. He finished, I think, he had the tournament he won, he finished bogey. So, when you're in a major championship and you can't finish, I think it's like a magnifying glass and it just gets exemplified. And I think it'll still take him, not everybody can be as mature as Jordan Spieth. So I think Ricky Fowler, if you give him another 2 to 3 years, I think he's going to get to that point. And Phil is just being Phil. He'll make a ton of birdies and he'll take a lot of gambles. And, he had a ton of double bogeys throughout the course of the week. He's 40, I think 7 years old. So, he'll play well and he won't. And Rory, I think there's so much pressure on him every year to play well because he wants to join that list of having the career Grand Slam. And every year there's so much pressure on him. I think after a while it gets to you. And I think that's why he has such a hard time competing in that tournament with all that pressure. Maybe not that the world has on him, but that he's put on himself.
Last question from us here, Caleb, before we let you run. Of course, no Tiger Woods, no Dustin Johnson, the world's number one. Was this tournament better or worse without these two gentlemen being a part of it this weekend, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it was worse without Dustin Johnson. He was easily the best player coming into this tournament, and it's just a giant what if. What if he would have played? And Tiger, I mean, I'm kind of getting on the bandwagon of, it'd be nice to see Tiger at Augusta, but he's not going to compete there. And it just is sad to watch. To me, it would be sad to watch if he was there, because he's just a shamble of what he used to be. Another what if, what if none of this happened? So it would have been nice to see Dustin there and Tiger there, but unfortunately that's not the way it went.
Fair enough, Caleb. Well, we appreciate you swinging by this morning. We look forward to having you back on the program again soon. Enjoy your Monday, and tip a cat to a couple of folks as well, too. And we'll talk to you again soon, Caleb. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. There goes Caleb Pearson here on The Morning Brew. Definitely some good insight from him this morning talking about the Masters. I was actually genuinely interested in the Masters.
Were you?
I was genuinely interested because I was watching the Masters yesterday with my son. For those of you that follow me on Snapchat, Beckham was sitting on the couch watching the Masters. He was infatuated by it. I mean, granted, he pretty much is infatuated by anything on the TV because he's a baby, and anything big, glowing, and shiny, he's like, ooh. But
right.
he was actually watching with me a little bit yesterday, and it was just kind of subtly in the background yesterday, but I actually found myself getting excited about the last 3 or 4 holes as Sergio and Justin were kind of working their way down. And then even the playoff as well, too. I was literally stopped making dinner so I could watch it and be like, oh, who's going to win? It was exciting. I actually got excited about it.
It was on TV at one point this weekend, and I mean, obviously, but my TV.
Of course.
And I don't know who said it, but someone was like, all I got to do is make sure I walk slowly between the holes, make sure I get enough time to think. I'm like, that is all you're worried about? You're just worried about walking slowly enough so you can get all of your thoughts out before you make the next hole? I was pretty dumbfounded.
That seems kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz agreeing with Caleb on Facebook here. She says, Sergio is the third person to win from Spain. There were 2 other gentlemen that won multiple years. Yes, that is correct. More points for Liz, another 10 points for Liz based off of her terrific comments. Remember, we are handing out points this morning. Person that gets the most points will get an imaginary hug from Jaymee and a high five from myself. So lots of things at stake this morning for us here on The Morning Brew. All right, we love beer and we love food. That's no secret about anything that we do here, Jaymee. But the big thing coming up right now is Major League Baseball, of course. They just, got their season rolling, about a week ago? Has it only been a week since opening day?
A week today.
Lord have mercy.
Or yesterday, but today.
Seems just like yesterday that we pitched it off there and we're on our way. But so people are always trying to spice up their foods and their drinks, their promotions. How much can we charge for a hot dog that looks like, Mike Trout's face, like all kinds of stupid things like that. But there are 2 clubs in the baseball world that are trying to get a little bit more interesting and cheeky, I guess, if you wanna say it that route. But one of them has to do with a club from Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves, of course, for those of you that are playing along with where's Baxter trying to go with this. I'm getting there, okay? Waiting for my tabs to load so I can keep talking. But they are making a beer brewed in part with baseball bats.
Correct.
Rather strange. It is called a Batwood Aged IPA. It's kind of interesting, honestly. Have you got a chance to look at this? It looks kind of weird here.
I believe that the thought behind it was to make a beer with a lot of flavor, because who doesn't like a nice hearty beer? But something that you can still chug on a 73, 93 degree day. And then as I was reading, at first I would have assumed that it was like the barrels that it was kept in would have been from old baseball bats, but
right.
It's the shavings that they filter through them when a baseball bat is being made. So when a baseball bat is made, the shavings after that is what the hops or whatever are being filtered through.
Correct. Yes. So it's a lighter IPA with great flavor, according to brewmaster Spike Bukowski. That's a fun last name. And he says, when I'm sitting in the hot summer sun watching a baseball game, 7.3% of alcohol, 7.3% alcohol beer is pretty tough, especially if you have a couple. Jaymee is nodding her head in confirmation of such an allegation. When asked about how he scored himself on a scale of 1 to 10, he said he's a beer merged versus he said he would probably be a 9. So this guy is very passionate about it, and this is only, to my knowledge, available at SunTrust Park with their brew lab that they've got with the Terrapin Beer Company. So kind of a cool little thing. I mean, I've never really heard of. I mean, I know people do all kinds of weird stuff when it comes to brewing beer. I've never gotten into the beer brewing side of things. I have friends that do it, and it sounds very fascinating. My grandpa used to not brew his own wine, but I guess, what is that? I guess it's not brewing wine, but make his own wine. I'm just going to say make his own wine. But there's such a process and such a thing that goes into it. I find it very fascinating that you get to kind of make your own personalized beer.
Yeah.
Are you an IPA girl? No, I'm not really. I've never been a big fan of them, honestly. It
depends. If it's not too skunky, I'm okay with it.
See, when you have to phrase something if it's too skunky or not, that's usually for me. Be like, well, yeah, obviously I'm not going to drink something that's skunky.
I used to be like, they taste like dirty socks, but I'm learning to appreciate them more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the drink side of things. What's the food side of things that we've got taking place now?
The Seattle Mariners have decided to partner with a Mexican restaurant that will serve toasted grasshoppers at their games. They are toasted and then tossed in chili, lime, salt. I feel like that is not enough to make them edible.
Toasted lime and salt. But they're also like a taco, aren't they? Is it like a grasshopper's taco?
It's like a bowl of them.
A bowl of them? Ugh. Ugh.
I would never, ever.
Toasted grasshoppers. No, thank you.
I did a shot once with a scorpion in it, but that's different.
What?
Yeah.
You could die.
Well, it wasn't alive. It was dead.
Still. You
can't die.
That's just...
They'd probably take the little thing out of its tail.
Ugh.
But I would never eat a grasshopper.
Very strange. No, of course not. I'm not about that life. I just finally got involved with sushi after like 24 years of my life.
I'm just like a huge texture person, and I feel like it wouldn't be nice with their little legs on your tongue. Like, I can't even eat strawberries because I don't like the texture of them. So I don't think I could do good with this.
Strawberries are amazing.
No, but I can't do it.
Oof. Would you guys eat grasshoppers, or would you drink a beer brewed with bats? That's what I want to know. I mean, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Beer way more than
yeah, beer with a bat makes way more sense, and we're talking about like a wood bat, not like the kind of bat. Like that's totally different. Like I think that's what some people think about when they read that. They're like, they're using bats. Like somebody at PETA's freaking out, like, whoa, animals! Like you can't do that.
Animals.
But, no, like bats, kind of thing, but. Grasshoppers, no, I could never do it. I barely can get through the fact of like I said, sushi. I really enjoy it, but something about certain things. Like yesterday, we were eating, and my wife was like, "Oh, did you know those are eel eggs?" I was like, oh. It's like keep going, just keep going, and just don't even think about it, and we'll figure it out later. I couldn't do it.
I could not do it either. But I feel like. Part of baseball is like having a bunch of different things, like concessions and drinks and foods and like all that stuff. But
a grasshopper.
Why can't you just put like an enchilada or something?
Would you have a grasshopper enchilada?
No.
Oh, okay. I was
but
like, that could be a way.
Like something way more like you can't get any Mexican food at Miller Park. I don't think.
That's true.
So like, why you got to go to that extreme?
That is true.
Start out with like what are those like cinnamon things?
Cinnabon?
No. We're staying on like it's from a Mexican restaurant. You dip it in chocolate, cinnamon, sugar.
Oh my gosh!
Starts with a C, right?
Sure. Shot. I don't know. I know what it is, but I can't think of what it is.
Churro.
There it is.
Oh,
yes. Winning on Morning Brew.
Like, why can't they just do like a big churro?
Big batch of churros. Liz says if these were covered in chocolate, she might be interested.
Ugh.
Might be. There you go.
No.
And Liz also says churro? ? Yes. There we go. 10 more points to Liz. Adam says, I'd try grasshopper, but only if it was chocolate covered or crickets, apparently. So Adam is trying to get adventurous. If it makes a noise like that, then it is. My first instinct is to kill it. I don't think I want to eat it.
Oh, okay.
You know, like cows, like blah blah blah. I get that,
Yeah.
but like I'm not walking up to a cow being like, I need to kill this cow right now. Like. That's not my like. I get the reasoning that cows are used for food, but like I see a cricket or I see a grasshopper, I'm just like like go away.
Right.
Like that's no way at all. I just no, thank you.
I don't like grasshoppers at all, and they're big. Some are huge and some are small. And I used to have a pet snake, And I had a feeder. Or I did, but she didn't eat crickets, obviously.
You had a pet snake?
I did, but I also had a lizard at one
You're
time.
weird.
So I would throw them in a cage, but I had a cage for them, and just they're crawly and creepy and no thank you.
Yeah, Josh says, let's wash down some grasshoppers with a $15 cup of bat shaving. Sounds like a fun time, said no one ever. That is the comment of the day right there. Josh gets 100 points for that comment. Well done, Josh.
What is your point system? Like,
Maybe
these
you
are just
should-
absurd.
What do you mean?
100 points.
Yeah, he makes a very valid point.
My goodness.
He gets points. You can hand out points if you want to.
Nope.
You need points.
I don't think we have the same point system.
Well, that would make it more
I'm
interesting.
humble with my points. 1 point for you, 2 points for this guy. 100.
100 points. That's a very
No.
valid point. Josh gets it. $15 cup of bat shavings and some grasshoppers is a
Gets
terrible
you drunk,
idea.
I'll drink it for $15.
You would do most anything for $15. Josh.
Not true.
That's true. That was a little harsh. I'm sorry. -5 points for me. I'm sorry.
-6 points for you.
Well, see, there we go. Now I'm at -11, so it's fine. Adam also says baseball bat beer seems interesting. Would be very mild flavor. I've made an oak-aged beer back in my brewing days. Oh, Adam the brewer. We need to get him apparently to get us our official morning brew. Speaking of brew, where is brew this morning? Adam also says friends brewed a campfire beer. It wasn't so good. Tasted like campfire in every sip. I was at Lakefront Brewery the other day, and they have this beer that literally smells like camping in a glass.
I don't think I would like that.
Like, you know that feeling you get like when you like camp and you like, you know, go to bed and you wake up the next morning, you smell your hair like you smell like campfire. Like,
yeah.
Imagine that, but drinking it.
I don't think I would like
Strangest feeling ever. My friend got it and let me try a sip of it, and I was like, Sean, what the heck are you doing, man? I'm like, this is very strange. But his wife loves literally anything to do with camping, and she like downed it in a second. She's like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, you just basically drank camping. It's very weird. Very, very weird. But, I mean, yeah, Liz says your point system is whack. Liz, I think you're a little whack, but I'll still give you 3 points because you're cute.
3.
3 points. She called us whack.
He called you whack.
She said you're. Like the two of us together.
Nope.
The two of youths. Two of us are whack.
It's not at me.
A little bit on you. We are looking for possibilities for prizes based off the amount of points we give up. Josh is currently in the lead. He's got 100 points based off of his grasshopper thing. You can take away points as well, too. I mean, like, once the points have been given out, you can then deal negative points back.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know that.
For anybody following, I'm learning about this point system just as much, like, at the same time you are. So.
Hey, people like incentives. People like feeling like they are a part of what's going on. So why not hand out points to make people feel more involved and more in love with what's going on? Josh has done a great job this morning. That comment was by far the best thing I've heard all morning. So good for Josh.
100 points is a lot of points.
Yeah, it is. But he can get negative points. He could ruin it. And you could knock him down with negative points. So keep that in mind, Josh, as you're commenting. Jamie's going to be looking to, like, coming at you with that, like that teacher with the red pen being like, all right, who messed it? 5 points off.
Nothing against you, Josh. It's all against Baxter, so.
No, it's all against Josh now because I've already given you the points, Josh. So she's going to be the bad guy now because I was nice and gave you points. Don't hate the player, hate the points. Wait, that's not it. Well, Jamie, what else do we want to talk about? There's so many different things. There's people missing. Did you know this? Speaking of the Atlanta Braves, former Atlanta Braves outfielder Otis Nixon is missing. Kind of a strange thing, kind of a scary moment. Has yet to be seen. He was seen yesterday leaving. Saturday, pardon me. He was seen leaving yesterday morning at 10 a.m. Saturday. I keep saying yesterday. Saturday. Left his residence in a gray Range Rover. Has yet to be seen. 58 years old. I have yet to see him wearing a black shirt, pants, tie, and shoes. Police still have yet to find him, so we certainly wish the police a speedy thing to find them, a speedy search, and also we wish Otis is safe as well, too. So we'll keep an eye and an ear out for anything in regards to Otis Nixon. Very good Braves player back in the day, apparently. I don't know. I didn't know who he was, but I wish that he is found shortly. Adam is debating my points. He says it was a great comment, but not 100 points. Great.
Thank you.
Well, what would be what would be the amount of
10.
points? 10 points.
Yeah, but you were handing out 10 points to Liz earlier, like they were.
Because she's cute. She gets the wife bonus. She gets the wife multiplier. So therefore, like her point, like I mean, if we're gonna go on a scale of 1 to 10, then fine. I guess we could do that. But I mean, that comment was so clutch that I felt like it warranted 100 points. I'm waiting for you to start handing out points. You gave me -5 points, -6 points.
I am strict with my points. I give them out when they're deserved.
You need to give up more points.
I don't just throw them at people. You get a point. You get a point. No. I give my points to those that deserve my points.
Sure. That makes sense. Speaking of scoring and points, the Brewers had something funny happen at their game yesterday. Yeah. For those that have not heard or that were not at the Brewers-Cubs game yesterday, there's a funny story that took place in regards to one of the umpires. So it's very known that people hate the Chicago Cubs. Very well known, for the most part, right?
You get a point for that.
Thank you. Only at negative 10 points now. It's a good day to be alive. If you didn't hear about this, somebody decided to take the time to inflate a huge condom, inflate it, and throw it on the field. And one of the umpires decided that, hey, this is disturbing the run of play, ran over and just whoppa, and just like destroyed it, and then tipped his cap to the crowd because the fans loved it. It was absolutely phenomenal. But this sucker was huge. Like, somebody took a lot of time. First of all, that has to be a little nasty to think about because, stuff. Anyway, it's very strange. Why would you do something like that?
Have you never blown up a condom before?
Can't say that I have. No.
I think I have.
Good for you.
So I think it would be strange to watch the person next to you blow up a condom in the middle of a game.
Yeah,
that would be weird.
Like, how do you explain that to your kids? Like, did you do this in the bathroom and then walk out with it, or did you pull out
Does he has kids? It was probably some drunk 21-year-old.
No, I'm saying if I'm Steve from Nevada sitting in my seats here, and Joe Whackjob over there is like, let's pop a condom, and I'm Dad, what's that? Be like, nah,
it's a balloon.
Yeah.
Kid.
Why does it look like it? Don't worry about it. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Jeff says good morning. Hi, Jeff. 5 points. We're saying good morning. Good to hear you this morning. Good to see you. Why do you hate my point system? He says good morning. Not a lot of other people have said good morning when they've come on. They just start commenting like they just, are entitled or something.
Yeah, he
like
said
Jeff
good
at
morning.
least has manners.
You give him 5 points. Mario says, woohoo, Jamie. You give him 1. Yeah. Not even. And then he deletes his comment because you only gave him 1 point.
That's not true.
Yep, you hurt his feelings.
Mario, man up. Come on, 1 point. Yeah, because he says woohoo. You can't just say woohoo, Jamie. Say good morning. Have some manners, people. She's a nice lady. You can't just go woohooing at Jamie like you know her or something.
Good.
I mean, for the right price. Jeff says $15 apparently is all it takes. Jeff says, Jamie, you think you've blown up a condom or you actually have?
No, I'm pretty sure I have.
How do you know? How do you not remember?
I just feel like it's... Well, I don't know, because it's not like I did it recently, in high school.
In high school. I love how she always goes back to, her rebellious days in high school. No, I never would do that now.
I was not rebellious. I was just...
You blew up condoms in high school. You must have been doing something
funny.
Rebellious. Is it?
I don't know. When you're 15, it's funny.
I'm 25, and I didn't think that was funny when I was even
You might have. Yeah, because you were homeschooled. You don't count.
I went to private school for 3 years, okay? There was a lot of sex, drugs, and alcohol going on at the private schools, okay? We got all the rejects from the public schools that nobody wanted, so we had plenty of stuff going on. I just wasn't invited because I was homeschooled before that. I don't know what you want from me, okay? But I'm glad that I didn't get invited to the big parties. I would hear all the time from people that were like, yeah, I jumped the fence last night. The cops raided our party. I'm like, you guys are 16 years old. What do you mean cops are raiding your parties? Where are your parents? Negative 1,000 points. Go home. Do your homework. No wonder you suck.
And I've been like, plus 10, you got away with an underage. You smarty pants.
This is why, yeah. Jamie as a parent's going to be just an absolute joy to watch.
That's why I'm not having children.
You should. I think it would be fun. Just one. Please, just one. I just want to see what would happen.
Oh, okay. For you? Sure.
Please. Yay! Can you name it Baxter if it's a boy?
No.
Dang it. Adam says it's hilarious. Also cheers people up, but if you put it over your head while blowing up.
See, I'm not the only person. There was a whole...
That's such a strange thing.
There's a whole thing for a while. People would pull them over their heads, and then you exhale, so then just... Yeah.
That seems so
real
weird.
Thing.
People have actual pictures of doing something like this. I mean, I might hand out a couple of points.
He will. He hands them out all the time. Clearly.
Doubtful. It just sounds so trashy. Adam, have you ever done something like this? Be careful how you answer.
He probably just... Maybe. I think it's funny. He thinks it's funny. So maybe he has tried it.
Why do I feel like old man Colburn on here? Just be like, you darn kids blowing up your condoms at baseball games.
Because you are being an old man.
How am I an old man?
No, you're being one.
Why? Someone's got to be the voice of reason on this show.
There's just condoms on the field. That's just not okay.
Is that your Sheboygan voice?
That's my Baxter voice.
Is it? That's what I sound like, Gary. Is that what it is? Adam says, yes, I have, to cheer up a friend who broke her leg.
See?
Who?
She thought it was funny.
So here's the train of thought that I have here. So, Susie breaks her leg, and she's screaming in pain on the ground, and Adam's like, I got a condom in my pocket. Susie, check this out.
Don't mind your broken leg. I don't think that's how it went down.
But it's still, if you go to the hospital to visit Susie who just snapped her leg in 12 places, is that the first thing you think of? Is no, I'm going to bring Susie flowers. I'm going to bring her cookies. I'm going to bring her chocolates.
Maybe he did it both. Maybe he did all of it.
I was like, is that weird if you, bring a condom and blow it up? If I did that, one of my friends just got broken up with yesterday. If I went to her house and I said, hey, I'm going to blow a condom up over my head just to make you feel better about yourself, she's probably going to look at me and be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I
Right? If that were, the big thing, you were, all weepy and pitiful a couple of weeks ago, and if I'd have been like, Jamie, here's a condom, you'd have been like, no, that's not what I need.
Right.
Go away. See?
Especially coming from you.
Why does it matter if it's coming from me or not? I'm just saying it should be weird no matter who it comes from.
Yeah, that probably would not cheer me up.
Thank you. Ance O'Leary, first of all, 1 billion points for having the greatest last name ever. He says, good morning to us. Good morning from us in New Zealand.
Good morning.
Wow, it's 12:42 Tuesday morning. I know what it's like to break many bones. Take her some cake. It always makes them better. See, Ance gets it. You bring cake to somebody that breaks their leg. You don't blow up condoms on your head. You do not do it. Adam says it was spur of the moment thing, and it was hilarious.
I bet you it was.
I want to know why Adam had condoms just rightfully on him, just walking around. I think, isn't that weird now? Back in the day, in general, to walk around with condoms in your pocket or in your wallet,
Better to be safe than sorry.
I need more information, Adam. I need so much more information. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I have going on right now, and I just need to know more. Can we get your friend on the line, Adam? That's what I really need to know in all of this, is to help us figure out more so what the heck is going on. Lined up in my jacket. Okay, so he's just got a bunch of them in his jacket.
Hey.
How long ago was this? Was this pre or post kids, Adam? Because it looks like you got a couple of kids here, and not that I'm trying to creep on your Facebook. It looks like you got a couple of kids, so I'm just curious to know when his progression of life, this is when this took place.
It was probably after he ran out of them. Or after.
It would be before he ran out of them. Because how can you blow something up if you don't have it?
You said, was this before or after you had kids?
He said there was a medical room in college. There was a bin of them. It was 1998. Well, I guess we all made bad decisions in the late 90s, so I guess that makes sense. In 1998, I was 6 years old, so, you can tell how many bad decisions I made with my life at that point. I was still homeschooled at that point, if you were wondering.
Ooh, I wasn't. I assumed, though.
I figured
that
just
Jamie. Went, that was a no-brainer.
True. What else do you want to talk about? Speaking of sex and condoms, Chicago Cubs apparently going to experience a baby boom in August.
Oh, yeah.
You were, disgusted about this on Twitter. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Since we're already on the subject, we might as well just keep the party going.
The first story was this woman was and then I was in the delivery room, and then we hit the ball, and my baby came out, and no one was paying attention. I had to call the nurses over, and I named him Ben because whatever crap story she told. And then after that, it was I'm pregnant because we had sex when the Cubs won the World Series, and if this was God's gift because we're pregnant and the Cubs won. No. You just were drunk and you had sex, and now you're having a baby. That's what happened.
God's not a Cubs fan, for those that were wondering.
Yeah, I just thought it was a very dumb segment.
Well, this is what you say. Do you remember watching NFL games this last year, and they would show the picture? They did that commercial with all the babies, with the Super Bowl, like onesies or jerseys on. Mm-hmm. It was it's promoting sex, basically being well, if your team wins the Super Bowl this year, you're gonna have babies in 9 months. That's such a stereotypical thing to do, though. Of course, you're celebrating, we just won a championship. Of course, duh, it makes sense.
And their stories were he was out at the bar and I was at home, and I texted him right away, come home, we need to do it. That did not happen. That didn't happen.
It's not real life.
Mm-mm.
It's not how it works.
No.
Very rarely. Maybe, I don't know.
I just thought the story was dumb.
Jeff wants to know if he gets points for his birthday.
Is it today?
I would assume so.
Then no.
What? Wow. I gave Jeff 5 points just for saying good morning. If it's actually your birthday today, Jeff, I would like to hand out some points to you, but apparently Jaymee is a negative Nancy today and hates you and hates everybody today, so 1,000 negative points for you, Jeff, apparently, according to Jamie's mind.
That's a little excessive.
Well, how many? Well, give Jeff points. He deserves the points.
Well, why don't you just dish out some points?
Because you're the one that were like, well, is it today? Like, you've already engaged Jeff, so you might as well.
Points.
How many points do you even have to give?
Not many, which is why I'm holding them dear.
Keeping her points close to her chest. Like,
you know who I would give some points to, though?
Who's that?
Brian Bickle.
Brian Bickle? Mm-hmm. Why? What does Brian Bickle have to do with anything?
So for those of you who don't know anything about the NHL, like Baxter, Brian Bickle used to play for the Blackhawks, and then he played for the Carolina Hurricanes, but he was diagnosed with MS in November.
Oh, shoot.
So he played his first game back on Thursday.
Oh. So he's back, though. That's good.
And then yesterday they went into a shootout, and he scored their first goal in that, and then announced his retirement afterwards.
I just dropped the mic.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So
season's officially over now, too, isn't it?
Is why regular season, yes. So that is why I would give 1,000 points to him.
Wow. There you go, Brian. So you don't have a lot of points to give it. You're just throwing 1,000 points around like it's free money, like it's Chinese yen where it doesn't mean a single thing. Mm-hmm. Jeff says, hunting Jaymee down in my birthday celebration tonight. Seems a little creepy. Minus 5 points. Just because
I'm busy all night.
Just because it's your birthday, Jeff, doesn't mean you can be creepy. No, I'm kidding. We love Jeff here at I almost said, what's the score? I don't even know what show this is anymore. I don't even know what I'm doing with my life anymore. Really, I don't. Jaymee, you should just run the rest of the show. You should. If you haven't hit that share button by now, make sure you continue to do so as well. We've been handing out points all day.
Baxter's handing out points.
My leaderboard still is Josh in first place. Liz, I think, is in second. Adam's in third place based off of the points that I've given. Actually, I gave 1 billion points out to Ance O'Leary. So, Ance, if you're still watching, you still, sir, are far, far up the food chain in the points because he's got 1 billion. Because he's got an awesome. I mean, his first name is Ance, first of all. Then his last name's O'Leary. And he's from New Zealand. Drop the mic, Ance. Walk away. Drop kick your laptop. You'll never do anything better until that, except for that. Way to go. Why do you have no response from me? You never respond.
I wouldn't give him 1 billion points.
Why not?
I don't know. I'd give him some because he's tuning in at 12:42 a.m.
from New Zealand.
Super
There's
neat.
so many different points that you can hand out from all of the different facts. Cool last name, awesome last name. Tuning in for the first time from New Zealand, commenting, Ance is just crossing all the boxes. He's a surefire first-round pick in my draft.
Nice. He should feel good about that.
He should. Life is good if you're Ance O'Leary today. Jeff says because she won't give me points, that's why he's apparently hunting you down.
I figured.
I mean, if you just give him points,
Nope.
this would all go away. Mm-mm. You're bringing this upon yourself.
1 point.
1 point. There you go, Jeff. Happy birthday. You get 1 point. My God. A special shout-out to those of you that are still tuning in here as well on Facebook. Good morning to Sarah, Dave, Jeff, of course. You're around there. Liz, good to see you all as well. Adam has yet to continue to keep on with the condom conversation. If you've missed a lot, remember you can come back and watch the show later after we go off the air. But you can also get us live on Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central Time live right here on Brew Sports. Remember to tell your friends, all that fun business as well. So we've talked about condoms. We've talked about grasshoppers. Talked about beer. Talked about baby booming and sex. Talked about missing people. We talked about Tim Tebow. Talked about the Masters. I always forget that. Most of the time when we get to the latter half of the show, I always forget we have correspondents on just because they're there for and they're just gone.
Yeah.
Where else can we go? Is there anywhere else we can go today, to keep the show moving along?
We could talk about the World Cup bit.
We could. We certainly could. So for those of you that don't know, the United States, Canada, and Mexico have called a special press conference for an historic announcement today, and that puts it in quotes. The main thing that we're basically looking for from this press conference is that United States, Canada, and Mexico will announce that they will be putting in a joint bid to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, U.S. wanted to do it by themselves, but because of the one elephant in the room, Donald Trump, they don't think that they would be able to host it by themselves. just because of so many different countries not liking Trump and the fact of FIFA being obviously an international organization, and Trump trying to put these travel bans and all these other sort of hooplas. Now, granted, Donald Trump isn't going to be president in 2026, so that's the one issue in all of this that I'm like, why are we making a big deal about this, guys? He's not going to even be the president at this point. Why would that affect the bid? Because he won't even be there. That's the one issue I have with this, and I'm like, why are we doing this?
But do you think that it's, like, I still think it's a super neat idea. Like, it shows that everyone can come together and work on something, because soccer is so different than any other sport that's played in America. I think it's super cool that we're willing to, you know, team up with
different
Canada
countries,
and Mexico, and I don't know. I think it's super cool.
It is kind of lame if you're Canada because they haven't qualified. I don't know if they've qualified for a World Cup in a very long time, that they had to wait. Because if you are a host of the World Cup, you automatically qualify.
Okay.
So this is kind of like the backdoor cheap thing for Canada, where the United States and Mexico have traditionally, done a great job of qualifying for the World Cup. But it seems a little backdoor and shady to me personally. That it's like, oh, you have to literally try host in order to even be considered.
Yeah, but everyone from Canada is so nice. They should just be allowed in.
It's not how it works. Oh. It's not real life.
Oh.
Minus 5 points for you, Jamie.
Sorry.
Come on. You're better than that. I raised you better than that, Jamie. But yes, there's an historic announcement today taking place at the World Trade Center, so kind of an exciting moment there. It'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you tune in if you are a big soccer fan. I will probably be trying to catch some of the announcement as well. So a big historic day because dual nations have happened before, but tri-nations have never happened from a World Cup bidding hosting. Yeah. You look like you had something you were about to be like, but what about?
Well, then I was thinking, like, okay, do they all have to, put in the same amount of, like, effort and work and money, and then does it all get distributed at the end, even though it's being held in, I don't know, Nevada? I just threw out something.
I hope they won't host it in Nevada. That'd be an awful idea.
But, would it be, like, the same amount of work from every single person that's...
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. I mean, you're going to probably have a couple of games or a couple of group games taking place in certain countries, and then the final, of course, will take place in maybe Mexico or the United States would be my bet, because you need a stadium big enough to host a World Cup. I mean, Mexico has their big Azteca Stadium, which is massive, which could probably host a World Cup final, though it's at really high elevation, so that might affect the players. If the World Cup final does happen here in the United States, it's probably going to be at a football stadium because we don't have soccer stadiums big enough, which is kind of sad. But soccer still hasn't grown that far yet in the United States, so we'll have to keep an eye if maybe they decide to build World Cup-specific soccer stadiums, or if they're going to hold the games in football stadiums. So either way, it's an exciting time for all three of these nations, so we'll keep an eye on that and make sure to give you the best and brightest information about that as we get to that point.
Adam also asked, how would that work, though? Would matches be in each country?
Yes, they would. So the traveling in that sense would be a little crazy, because you may have a game. I'm assuming they would probably schedule the groups, because they're also trying to expand to 48 teams as well instead of 32 teams. So I'm assuming certain groups would probably just play their games in Mexico, in the United States, and in Canada. I really doubt you're going to be playing a game in Mexico City, go up to Vancouver, over to Boston, and then back down to Orlando or something to play like your 4 games. Like, that would just be absolute hell. It's hard enough to go from one side of the country to the other in the United States, let alone trying to go to multiple different places as well, too. So I'm assuming they're going to get very regionalized in that regards and be like, all right, you guys are going to play all of your games. Even if it is Mexico, U.S., you're going to play, Mexico, Arizona, Texas. Those will be some of the games there. And then they'll put another pocket up by Canada and try to expand that way. That would be the best of my thoughts. Josh says there's probably already enough infrastructure in place in all 3 countries to do this easily, unlike Brazil. You're right, and that's the thing. That what you usually see happen after the World Cup and after the Olympics is that the infrastructure of the cities just absolutely just plummets, and there's just ghost towns. Right, exactly. Which is why the United States, I think, and Canada and Mexico are not going to really have to make a lot of changes. You might have to build another stadium or 2, but these countries actually know how to survive. They actually know how to do good things, financially. I think that this will ultimately be a great thing through and through, in my opinion. And I'd be excited. It'd be great to have a World Cup here in 2026. I'd actually love to go to some of those games if that works out. Do some live broadcasts from Bruce Sports. Why not? 2026. Do you know what you're doing with your life in 2026, Jamie?
What is that, 9 years?
Something like that.
Nope.
Nope? Mm-mm. Not a clue? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 9 years, Jamie?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, that's a big question. In 9 years, I will be probably doing the same crap I do now.
Working as a bartender and working for the Admirals and co-hosting Brew Sports.
Living the dream.
We'll work on that. We will.
Harold will probably be out of my life by then.
Oh, sad Harold.
You know.
He might be around. It's 9 years. Cats live for a while. He was a kitten, isn't he?
He has cat AIDS.
Well, Harold, maybe you should have used one of those condoms at the Brewers games. We wouldn't be having this conversation. One of Adam's thousands that he had in his jacket.
So they say he's going to die when he's 4. So that's why I say that.
Wow, Harold's just a ticking time bomb. Might as well put him out to pasture now at this point. Lord have mercy. All right, well, we got to get out of here. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much to all of you amazing people that swung by today. We gave out so many points. I think the winner today is Ance O'Leary for the, first of all, amazing first name, awesome last name, and the fact that he tuned in from New Zealand. Ance is my winner of the day as far as comments and as far as watchers or viewers or words. Who is your winner of the day?
My winner of the day is going to be Adam.
Should have known. Why? You can't just, you got to give a
I
reason
like his
why.
condom jacket. I think it's funny.
His condom jacket. I just picture Adam walking around with like a suit jacket just lined with condoms, just being like, what do you want? You want the big? You want the small? You want the soft skin? The deep? Like, just boom, bam. Like, I got you. Just like, psh, 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 psh. Adam's your man. If you're just tuning in, find Adam. No. Jeff says cat AIDS, question mark?
Yeah, it's called feline. It's called FIV. Look it up.
FIV. I'm trying to think. One of our cats had. Oh my! He had herpes. One of our cats had herpes.
Really?
Because he would sneeze all the time, and doctors are like, "Oh yeah, he just has cat herpes. He's fine."
Huh? Yeah, like I could never get another cat because he could pass it on to them.
So you have to wait for Harold to pass. Fair enough. Adam says, "Have an awesome day. Thank you very much." And he says, I need a new game. Now you found me out. Sorry, Adam. We're giving you free promotion, Adam. I mean, wait for us to come back tomorrow and be like, welcome to the Morning Brew, sponsored by Adam's Condom Depot. Like, that's probably like, if you want to work on, like, you know, a sponsorship or something, we'll put our people in charge with your people. But probably not, though. Maybe. I don't know. We'll just blow up condoms and, like, bat them around.
I feel like you're opening. That's how we'll, like, end every show.
Yeah, we'll just pass the condoms back and forth. All right, she's Jaymee. I'm Baxter. Caleb Pearson was here this morning. Thank you so much for not playing with me. All right.
Oh.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I already popped it. It's a useless. You're a terrible co-host. You guys are the best. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll be back here again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time. Of course, coming up next is Halftime with myself and Tanner Burke at noon Eastern, 11 Central. Do not miss it. It's live here on Brew Sports. Find us, comment, share, tell your friends, tell the masses, tell your AIDS-infested pets. Tell everybody. We love everybody here at Brew Sports. We'll see you guys next time on the Morning Brew. Have a great rest of your Monday. For Jamie Ebers, I'm Baxter Colburn. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your day.